let's go further into our sum formula, or the arithmetic series, isn't it? And you know that there's two formulas for it, one with the first term and the last term, and the second one with the first term and the common difference. So I'm hoping you guys are quite familiar with this now. Make sure you know which one would be more appropriate to use depending on the question, and you might want to just write that down next to you so we just apply it. So those are the ones that we're going to be using, the arithmetic series. Let's go straight into question 1, guys. Let's read it together. The first term of an arithmetic sequence is 4, and the sum of the first 35 terms is 3,115. So they give us some information here. They give us 2 bits of information. The first information is that the first term is 4, and the sum of the first 35 terms is 3,115. Now, guys, first question asks us to find the 35th term. Now, guys, if you want to find the 35th term is pretty much the last term in this arithmetic sequence, isn't it? The series, sorry, because there's 35 terms altogether. So the sum of the first 35 terms is this. That means the 35th term would be the last term of this sum, right? So I'm going to use my first term plus last term formula. See, n over 2a plus l. Now, we know that the first term is 4. They tell us that it's 4, isn't it? So I replace the first term with 4, and then the number of terms with 35. Remember how there was 35 terms? That's what they're adding. And we don't know what the last term is, but that's what we want to find. And they tell us that the sum is 3,115. So the L is the only unknown value. We're going to solve for it. Now, see how it has 35 on 2, guys? So to get rid of that, we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So see how it's 35 on 2? I'm going to multiply by 2 on 35, like this. Yes, so then the 35 on 2 is gone, and we just have the 4 plus L left. And let's simplify this, guys. You guys can just calculate it. What is that? That's pretty much just 178. So I've replaced that with, I've just simplified that to 178. So 4 plus L is 78. So to get L, let's just subtract away the 4. So 178 minus 4 will be 174. So that's the last term. Now the last term of the sum of the 35 terms, which means the last term is the 35th term, that's what we want to find. That's it. So the T45, the 35th term, is simply 174. Hope that makes sense. Make sure you fully understand that before you move on. Now, so that's the answer to part A. I'll just leave it there. Now let's do B. Find the common difference. Now, we know that the 35th term is 174, and what we're going to be using to find the common difference is our D. And see how we've got the TN formula? And I'm going to use this information. The 35th term. It's the 35th term, so we have to use the TN formula. So N is going to be 35, and this outcome will be 174, isn't it? That's what I'm going to use. And I know that A is also 4 from the question, yeah? So I replace the A with 4, and I replace the N with 35, and we found that that 35th term is 174, isn't it? And you can see that the D is just unknown. We'll solve for a D now. Now 35 minus 1 is 34, so I've got 4 plus 34, D equals to 174. Subtract away the 4, guys, so it becomes 170 on my right hand side. And finally we can just divide both sides by 34. So D, if you divide by 34, we'll get a value of something like this. And you can see that we found the difference by simply using this information here. So D is 5. I'm just going to write that there, and we're going to refer to that when we do part C, because now it's asking us to find the sum of the first 100 terms. So they want sum, which means we're going to be using our sum formula. I'm going to use this big one because we know what the first term is. It was 4, isn't it? And now we know what the common difference is. We found that it's 5, so we can find it. And N will just be 100 because we want the sum of 100 terms. So replace your N. So I want S100, the sum of 100 terms. And I replace the N's with 100. A, we know that it's 4 from the question. And the common difference, D, is from our part B, which was 5. So we just have to simplify it, guys. Now, guys, just do the brackets first, go inside out, and then finally multiply with your 100 on 2. That's just going to be 50, isn't it? And do the calculation for me, guys, and you'll get a value. And you can see that this is our value, 25,150. So that will be the sum of the first 100 terms.